Bill, this is the most read story on the terminal so far this morning. Seems like a lot of people want to know, would he RSVP yes or no?
I think there's close to zero chance of this happening, and there's almost no upside for Xi Jinping. It's quite possible Donald Trump has invited him. I don't know if it's a serious request or just kind of an olive branch, a way to start things off. But foreign leaders do not historically attend U.S. presidential inaugurations. And then there's a huge risk that Donald Trump will say something during his speech, whether it's announcing tariffs or making a joke about China, that would put Xi Jinping in an extremely uncomfortable position. This is, after all, President-elect Trump just made a joke in the past week, calling Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau the governor of America's 51st state. Imagine doing that to Xi Jinping when he's sitting in the front row of the stage in front of you. So I think, listen, it might be a nice olive branch. It might be a way to start things off. I'm sure the Chinese are going to look at a way to politely respond to this if the request was made. But I don't think Xi Jinping will be attending the inauguration on January 20th.
Yeah, and Bill, I guess to your point, there is a daily Ministry of Foreign Affairs briefing that we might be looking ahead to, that they might use that as a gauge, I guess, or as a way to somehow politely decline. But Bill, there's a literal invitation. There's also the symbolic part of it. And does this open up the door really for, I guess, to find common ground? We keep talking about how they're so far apart. They're strategic rivals as they are. But, are we sleeping on warmer, perhaps relatively warmer relations between the two here because of this? Yeah, I mean, I do think there's a lot of potential in this, and I think probably the only way for the Chinese to respond is in a polite way, and to use that hopefully as a door to have some talks. If you remember the start of the Biden administration, it was very early on in Biden's term when he sent Anthony Blinken and some of his top officials to Alaska to meet with some of the top Chinese diplomats. That didn't go very well, but I think leading into it, there was a lot of hope that, hey, at least we're starting off this new presidential term with talks. I think that's the way to look at it, but I don't expect to see Xi Jinping sitting in the Washington cold outside on January 20th, potentially not being able to respond to Donald Trump's speech about him. Yeah, the excerpt from this report out of CBS, and I guess just to bookend this conversation, Bill, State Department records dating back to 1874 show that a foreign leader has never attended a transfer of power ceremony. So I guess that closes the chapter to this, or the book to this story.